This album was recommended to me by a commenter on my Scott Walker video. If you would like to comment and recommend an album, feel free to do so, and I will try my best to review it. Today, we'll be looking into The Marble Index by Nico, which was released in 1968. Krista Pafkin is an artist who goes by the stage name of Nico. Nico's music was, at first, more positive and contemporary sounding, and was composed entirely of songs written by other people, which can all be seen across her 1967 debut album, Chelsea Girl.
These days I sit on cornerstones and count the time in quarter tones to 10.
Nico was very disappointed with how the final product of Chelsea Girl sounded because of her minimal inclusion on the production side of the album. For her next album, she was inspired by the writings and lyrical approach of Jim Morrison, who also convinced Nico to write her own lyrics as to make her songs more personal, and by the more abstract nature of the Velvet Underground's approach to music, who she previously collaborated with in 1967 on their self-titled album. With both of these in mind, she knew what kind of sound she wanted to make for her second album. The album opens with Prelude, which is an instrumental, and it might be the lightest song on the album, with a music box-like instrumentation, which sounds very dreamy and leads you into a false sense of security for the rest of the album. Lawns of Dawn follows this immediately, with the music box continuing throughout the song, shimmering here and there, whilst you're also submerged in guitar and harmonium. In my opinion, the lyrics to Lawns of Dawn are about Nico pleading for someone to be with them so that they can feel the same feelings and thoughts that Nico does, but they also want someone to confide in so they can get all these thoughts and feelings out of their mind so they can finally sleep in the hours of the morning after expressing themselves all night.
Until I rest on lawns of dawns.
No One Is There is a song about someone desperately trying to get the attention of everyone around them, but no one is giving them any mind despite wanting to be taken seriously, and they are continuously walking alone, begging for anyone to join in with their cause, but no one ever comes to them. Nico said this song was written about Richard Nixon in a 1982 live performance in Copenhagen, and dedicated that performance to Ronald Reagan.
Songs up in the air, and no one is there.
Ari's song is a song that is allegedly dedicated to her son, Christine Aaron Ari Boulanger, which is all about how Nico wishes that her child will have a cheerful future, where their dreams come true, and will not have to worry about anything else in the world. The instrumentation and vocals symbolise this as well, with Nico's voice being very comforting and hopeful, whilst the instrumentation sounds dreary and harsh, which shows how Nico is trying to protect her son from the harshness of the world around him.
Sail away, my little boy.
Facing the Wind, in my opinion, is about trying to find yourself, and how others in your life might have already found themselves, but the answers they have found do not satisfy you on your search for your purposes. Julius Caesar Memento Hodie is, in my opinion, about how your life might not amount to anything for yourself, but instead for those after your demise, who it might benefit from the things that you did in your life, and they will be the ones who carry forth your legacy, and be grateful for the things that you've brought to them, all thanks to the things that you did selflessly.
Tree hang apples, not for you to eat.
Frozen Mornings is probably the most famous song on the album, as Nico used to perform this song regularly at concerts, but it is, in my opinion, about being unable to see what the future holds for you, with there being 1,000 possibilities about what could happen next to you in your life, whether that be for the better or for the worse. But throughout all of this, the person you love will be there, no matter what happens next. All of this is sung over an instrumental that is constantly stuttering and jumping, making the lyrics seem more panic and unstable about what could happen next.
Frozen mornings close to mine, close to the frozen borderline.
Evening of Light seems to be about how Nico is worried that they don't have anything truthful in their life, and will eventually see that nothing has mattered in their life when they eventually die, and are worried that if they don't show or say anything that they really feel to the ones they love, then their life will be covered by the same lies that are going to cover the rest of their life to everyone else in the world, Nico is aware of what the rest of the world is going to think about them, but the ones who matter the most in Nico's life will know what Nico really meant to them and know what the real Nico was compared to the persona that everyone else knows. All of this is over an instrumental which is being constantly built in noise and heaviness, with this storm eventually clouding over the lone harpsichord until it's lost in the storm of noise, which to me symbolises Nico's true identity being lost to time as it's forgotten to the myth of Nico until even that isn't remembered anymore.
Midnight winds are landing at the end of time.
After this album was released, Nico continued to make more and more abstract albums, such as Desert Shore and The End. Despite the Marble Index being barely distributed and having poor sales, it's thought to be a major influence on the emergence of gothic rock in its music, and with Nico's image as well at the time, with artists such as Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees, The Cure, and Joy Division claiming this album and Nico in general to be a major inspiration on their sound. Sadly, Nico passed away on July 17th, 1988, with her set to record another album, inspired by Egyptian music, which sadly never came to be. Overall, I'd give this album a 9 out of 10, and if I were to rate this as a dark album, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.